What's up, guys? This is the Gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. And it's about that time. This is Laundromat Chat. And today what we're going to talk about is the Gillette commercial. Oh yeah, the Gillette commercial. There have been a couple of guys in my comment section that want to know how I feel about the Gillette commercial. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because damn it, you're about to get it and you might be sorry. All right. Here it is. The Gillette commercial. Gillette is running this bullshit campaign where they're talking about, is this the best that a man can get? And then they go on to show you a bunch of negative images of manhood and the evil that men do. And it's all twisted and malformed and manipulative. They have the little soft music playing. I mean, it's just so manipulative, and you're expected to be like, oh, these men, everything would just be all right with the world if not for these men, the scourge of the planet, the disease. And it starts off by showing these kids chasing this other kid, and we're led to believe, I guess, that they're a bunch of bullies. They're an angry mob that will beat this kid to death if they catch him. My thing is, you guys have to realize images can be deceiving, and it can be dangerous. All right. You might see an angry mob chasing these kids. You might see bullies. I see a bunch of good Samaritans chasing down a thief. Maybe he sexually assaulted a young girl in school, and these fine, upstanding young men are not having it. So they're trying to apprehend this boy peacefully if possible until the proper authorities get there. That's how I see that. Then it goes on to show some frightened young boy in his mother's arms, and he's shivering and he's shaking, and I have to watch it again. I didn't see a father present. This is supposed to be, is this the best a man can get? But they're just showing us the best a mother can get, a best a woman can get, perhaps. She's hugging her child, and you're just supposed to see this loving scene, right? What am I seeing? I'm seeing that same young boy at 35 years old, 40 years old, shaking in his mother's arms. Hold me, I'm frightened. This is not the best that a man can get. Then it goes on and it shows some woman in the boardroom, and she's probably saying some out of line dumb shit. And the guy says, what I think she's trying to say is, you see something condescending. They show her looking like she's all like self-conscious, and she's all offended, but she can't say anything because she's surrounded by these toxic men. What I see is a man trying to help her to get her thoughts together. How many times have you guys seen me before this camera stuttering over my words? I don't know what to say. My vocabulary is limited. Sometimes I misspeak. And I have people in the comment section say the word you were looking for is such and such. And I think what you were trying to say is this, or they expound upon, there you go. They expound upon what it is that I was trying to say. And I say to them, what do I say? I don't say, don't you correct me. Who the fuck do you think you are? No, I say, thank you. You've seen it. You've seen it in the comment section, all right? So don't act like you haven't. This is what a person does. People correct each other. It doesn't mean that they're toxic. Then they show, a bunch of men barbecuing for some reason. It's something like a row of 20 men. And for some reason, they keep on chanting, boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. It's almost like somebody wrote the script for them to say it and paid them. I don't know. But I guess if you see this type of scenario play out every day, who am I? I've never seen it before. If you have, please tell me in the comment section. You've seen a row of about 15, 20, 30 men just standing there flipping burgers talking about boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. And for that matter, what are boys supposed to be? If boys are not boys, what are they supposed to be? Boys are giraffes. Boys are orangutans. Boys are lions. Boys are bears. But you know what? Even orangutans, lions, bears, they're young, roughhouse with each other. We've all seen the National Geographic specials, have we not? And what do you see in those National Geographic specials when they show bear cubs, when they show lion cubs, when they show tiger cubs? They show them roughhousing with each other. That's what boys do. Boys will, in fact, be boys. Boys can't be girls. Sorry to tell you. Even though today they will tell you that Yes, boys can be girls. As a matter of fact, they celebrate boys being girls. They celebrate boys being girls more than they celebrate boys being boys. That's why they get on camera and they can act like it's so negative to say boys will be boys. But if the commercial was saying boys can be girls, then it would be like, boys can be girls. It's up to us to accept them and stop being so biased and poisonous. And they will celebrate it. They'll be on magazines talking about this boy is so courageous because he chooses to live his life as a girl, or he chooses to live his life as a woman, or a girl chooses to live her life as a boy. All that stuff is celebrated. Yay! But boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Then I think it goes on, right? And they show this dude on the street, and he sees this woman walking down the block, and he's like, hey, yo baby, yo, right? And then they got this dude talking about, nah man, don't do it. Cock blocking. That's what this is. That dude is a cock blocker. This is not the best that a man can get. A man should be like, good luck, bro. You know what I mean? Then it's up to the woman. Maybe the woman wants that man to talk to her, not to harass her, all right? But how is a relationship gonna start if we don't approach each other? This dude wasn't even allowed to approach her. He didn't say, yo, bitch. He just started to walk, and the cock blocker jumps up and says, nah, man, nah. That's a good way to get my fist in your face, bro. Back the fuck up. Now that's some toxic masculinity for your ass. All right, so anyway. Yeah, so all I'm saying is the images are manipulated. You know, then they show these kids talking about the kids of today will be the men of tomorrow. And you know something? Look, I believe in that. I believe the children of the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. I think I'll make that into a song. Anyway, yes, I understand, okay? I understand. The first reaction when you see this video is to say, or this commercial, is to say, well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with reminding men to be their best self? What's wrong with that? You know, they have Terry Crews, I think, on there. You know, that guy who used to wear a wig and dance around and do all type of emasculating things. They have him on there, and he's testifying somewhere talking about how men have to hold men accountable. And the first thing I'm thinking to myself, and this is my problem with this commercial, because the commercial is, or I should say the slogan for Gillette is the best that a man can be. They go on to show the worst that a man can be. And then they're being disingenuous because they're implying that men don't hold men accountable. Well, let me ask you this seriously and be honest. Have any of you ever heard of the criminal justice system? Waiting. Has anyone not heard of the criminal justice system? Created with a group of laws. And this, I believe, was created by men, right? This was created for the point, the express purpose of holding men accountable by men, okay? Has anyone heard of family court, where you will take a man who is divorcing, or his wife is divorcing him? Now they have no fault divorce, so a man doesn't even have to do anything, but he can find himself in court about to lose everything. Half of everything. His home, his retirement, half the time in his life that he will spend with his kids. This court was created so it can assist the woman in moving on most of the time. All right, I'm not saying it doesn't work the other way around, but most of the time it takes from the man. This is a system that was created by men to hold men accountable. So what the fuck are you talking about, Gillette? What are you implying? And that's my only thing. Now, let me wrap this up by saying this. There are some brothers out there, white brothers now, who have said there is a war on white men. There's an attack on white men. And when I first started hearing this, I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? It's a war on all men. But then I sat back and I started thinking about this, right? And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? They're right. This is an attack on white men. The attack on black men happened fucking like 20 or 30 years ago. We're talking about the late 70s, early 80s, or late 70s, 80s, and early 90s. All right? Because what happened was there was an all-out assault on black manhood at that point. Oprah was on TV Rolanda Watts was on TV. All these, people came on TV with the narrative that black men are no good, black men are deadbeats, black men are this, black men are that. And I wouldn't say that that's not true. There were plenty of black men who were deadbeats. There were plenty of black men who were no good, just like any other man. But just like this, it was, are you showing the best that a black man can get, or are you showing the worst? And they were heavily invested in showing the worst. Now, this was back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, all right? So the funny thing about it is that during that time, for those of us who were children at any point in that time, in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, if you were a young black boy, it was very, very hard to feel good about what you were going to grow up to be, because everyone was telling you black men ain't shit, right? And they put on blast the negative in the black community, so that's what it seemed like. So the whole world was able to see black men doing shit. You turned on the news, black men are robbing, black men are stealing, black men are raping, and it was pretty hard to come up with an argument against the stereotype that black men were responsible for all of the crimes and all of this stuff. And dysfunction followed from that, because once a community embraces that, and once it accepts that is true, then you lose the respect of your family, all right? You lose the ability to be able to raise your sons to be productive. And then the hip-hop movement came from there, the birth of hip-hop, where you had brothers will actually get on a microphone and say, I'm a nigger, and they would say, I'm a thief, I'm no good, I ain't shit. You heard this from black men themselves in hip hop. And a lot of it was because it was internalized through years of conditioning, and then they projected it out onto the world. All right. And the dysfunction has followed. So you talk about a warning. All right. For all the white men out there who think this is an attack on your manhood, you're absolutely right. And I'm here to tell you, from the past up until now, I'm almost like from the future, okay? Because where I am trying to raise my son is where you guys are about to be trying to raise your sons, surrounded by a bunch of negative imagery. You must fight this. I love the fact that you say, get woke, go broke, all right? Because that's what these people need to do. They need to be broke when they start attacking your manhood, when they start attacking your place in your own family, in your own community, in your own country. Look around. What do you see when you look around in these streets? You see men. You see men working on the roads. You see men building buildings. You see men in mines doing all types of dangerous work. You see men truckers. There's a truck going by. You're about to see it over there. Hold up. You see that truck over there? You see men truckers. All right, and I saw it, by the way. So don't. Yeah, how do you know it wasn't a woman? There's another one over there. He's going to do some ceiling work, some roof work, roofing, air conditioning. Politicians, police, first responders. All right. So when you want to talk about the best that a man can get, and you want to be responsible to your community, you will show the best that a man is doing. Because I goddamn did feel that we were invisible. When I was growing up, I felt that black men were invisible, good black men, the men that I used to see. My father, a police officer, my grandfather, a veteran, they never showed shit like that. All they showed was the worst that black men can get. And I had to tell myself, because after a while, I, as a young boy, was afraid, and I know this thing is going long, I got to wrap this up. I was a young boy, I was afraid of what I was going to turn into. People told me I was going to be no good. They actually told me that. I was afraid of black men. And then I had to remember, what the fuck? I'm going to be a black man. So I challenged myself to be the best, not perfect, but the best that a man could be. The best that a man could be. I challenge myself every day. And I want to be an example of that to my son, because I can tell it's going to become more and more difficult for him to find positive representations of his future. And that's what's coming for all of us men, all of us. That's why we do have to unite, all of us, because this is an attack. And they're attacking white men specifically now because the white men in their communities are the last examples of patriarchy in our society. Black men already went through this. Now our communities are matriarchies. And this is no disrespect to black women, but I'm telling you, Women need men. Women need protectors. Women need people who will respect them and make them feel safe and protect their families and provide for their families. That's what they need. So it shouldn't just be men who are outraged when you see some shit like this. It should also be women because they want to have a better choice of men. They want to have better sons, stronger sons. That's what we need. We don't need less masculinity. We need more masculinity. And it's not toxic unless you get in our fucking way. That's life. That's real. All right, guys. My clothes are almost ready to be put in the dryer. So I will take my toxic masculinity ass and I will wrap this up. And you can let me know how you feel in the comment section. I know that I am courting controversy and disagreement. That's okay. You can express yourself. Just be respectful. All right, guys. You can like, you can share, you can subscribe, and I thank you for it. This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. All my men out there, say it together. Rock on.